Thank you for reading, gentlemen. That was great. Love you. I chose this book, Firework, tonight because it's a story of a Midwesterner, also a small-town guy named Jelinek, who's kind of he's a city worker and thinks sort of alienated in a way in the vein of Travis Bickle from Taxi Driver. This story follows the first real empathetic move he ever makes in his life. He meets a young lady and their daughter who are trying to escape a pretty rough situation. So I should warn you, there is some violence in the book, though none from the passage that I'm going to read. But what I was really taken with is that this novel sets a precedent for being a noir. You have the man who's alienated from society, who is, in the passage I'm going to read, busted in a prostitution ring in the 1990s. He decides to do something for somebody else and takes that person away from the situation that they've become entrenched in. But what really got me about this particular book was that the style of writing, the sentences themselves are so brusque and impressionistic in a way. Like, you remember when you're a kid and you're in the backseat of a car and like you blink every time you see a phone line, and then you're still in the same place, but you see something different if you hold your eyes and then open them and they're red. That's similar like what the sentence structure of this book did to me. You know exactly where you are in space and time, but the way his language moves, it throws you in and takes you out. So without further ado, I'll read the beginning of this, and just to set you up for these 2 pages, our protagonist, Jelinek, is arrested for trying to pick up a prostitute. So it's a standard John situation, dark alley at night, mean-spirited cops. It's pretty standard stuff for a noir. But listen to how Eugene Martin, the writer of this, makes this situation that you've seen in movies countless times somewhat hallucinatory as the camera shifts in and out of focus. And as a reader, you're watching this scene on the news, but you're also watching it through the eyes of the protagonist in real time. You'll see it switches back and forth. So, the anchorman says, a public employee. There is no sound. There is a woman on a corner wearing white boots and waving at traffic. A station wagon pulls over. We don't know what color it was, but we can tell by the front plate that it is property of the city, state, or federal government. We can't see his face. The woman leans in the window, moving her mouth. There is no color, there is no sound. Then the anchorman says, trying to buy sex with your tax dollars. She slaps the top twice and steps back. A light flashes down the street. Now, because the lens through which we are looking is of the kind that compresses space, the unmarked car barreling towards us seems to get bigger without getting closer. We don't know the light was blue. 2 men get out in a hurry, approach the wagon from either side. One of them talks to the driver. He opens the door and hauls the driver out by his shirt, forces him face down onto the street, and kneels on his back while his partner applies the handcuffs and helps himself to a wallet. His lips move, the reading of the rights we assume. We don't know where the woman went, but the driver's face is bloody. We don't know his name. We don't know that the unmarked car was green, that inside it smelled like fast food, that when they shoved Jelinek into this ridiculous plaid of his back seat, there was a metal bucket on the floor by his feet. That the cop pressing down on the top of his head said, you spill them, you swallow every last one, and the other cop said, like it matters, and the one pressing down said, like you know, and the other one said, I know if they don't shine, you can't see them, and the other one said, they don't see them, they smell them, I kill with those little black bastards, and they got back up front and ate their lunch. When they were done, they wrote him a ticket for impeding the flow of traffic. A tow truck came for the wagon. The one who was going fishing jerked the gear shift and water sloshed in the bucket. They ran a light and turned, drove past a boarded-up gas station with weeds sprouting from where they'd been pulled at the pumps, a check-cashing establishment, 10% off the top, a modest brick building purporting to be the refuge of last days, pulled up in the driveway of an old warehouse housing nothing now but the dust in the dark, a paddy wagon, like a black metal box on wheels, half hidden in weed trees. Jelinek was extracted gently from the back seat. One of the cops put his wallet in his back pocket. On his way to the back of the truck, he looked into the lens of a camera perched on a man's shoulder like a rocket launcher. Because he was still too numb to just turn away or duck, his eyes bulged into your living room in living color, hands behind his back like the bearer of some terrible surprise. That's Firework by Eugene Martin. If you're interested, we've got copies back there. Thank you very much.